Hey everybody, this is Joseph Hasek and welcome back to the Fired Up Network. Welcome to Blue Jays Strike Zone. Welcome to the broadcasting legend Storm and Norm Rumack for Blue Jays Strike Zone Game 7 post-game edition. And with me, of course, is Norm. We're hopefully going to be joined by several people. If we're not, we're not. Now, Norm, as you know, I am the president of the provinces of Canada, the mayor-elect of North America, soon to run for the mayor of Zimbabwe. Can't spell it, but I can run for it. As you know, Norm, I get a little bit excited when my teams win. You understand that? When my teams win, I get a little bit excited. The Blue Jays had the chance to win the World Series for the third time ever. They're leading 3-0. Great work by Bo Bichette. All right? Great work. It's 3-0. 3-1. 3-2. 4-2. 4-3. Ninth inning. Trevor Hoffman coming in there. Home run. To who? Who cares? It wasn't Ohtani. It wasn't Muncy. It wasn't whatever. 4-4. Then, in the 11th, yes, Game 7, gone to extra innings. 11th inning. What happens? The Dodgers come up, hit a home run. Wait, Norm, wait. You've been very patient with me, but I am extremely, extremely mad. Now, 11th inning, Guerrero comes up, does the job, has a double. They sacrifice him to third. He's third, 1 out, they walk. Then Alejandro Kirk, who has a great season, but, can't run the bases. He cannot run the bases. Even, I would say, I will beat him in a running to first base, all right? He stumbles. He hits a ball. He stumbles. Touch second base. Touch first base. The 2025 World Series champion, the Los Angeles Dodgers. Now, Norm, hold on. Don't come to me and tell me the Dodgers showed a lot of chutzpah. They came around, they're down 3-0. They come around and they do everything. They show this and that. No. I don't want to hear it. You are forcing me, as the president of the provinces of Canada, the mayor-elect of North America, to do a show when I don't want to do a show, especially coming off a very big victory for the Maple Leafs, beating the Philadelphia Flyers 5-2. Hopefully, our best wishes are out to, the great defenseman, Tanev there, who left on a stretcher and everything like that. Hopefully he's doing well. Okay? CFL, I'm talking about everything because I'm really pissed off. You're going to carry this show. CFL, we're, the Eastern and Western Finals, Montreal beat Winnipeg 42-33. So they're going to play Hamilton next week. And then the West, great matchup between BC and Calgary, and we have Calgary winning by 3 points there. So it's Saskatchewan, Calgary in the West Final. Now, and Marlies, by the way, they lost tonight also. All right. So Norm, you waited patiently. Go ahead, talk about World Series Game 7. We're hopefully going to be joined by a lot of people. If we're not, who cares? By the way, it is November 2nd. So I want to take this special opportunity and wish Eric Cohen a very non-happy birthday because I blame the loss on him, and my my family member Michael Sugar a happy birthday as well. And don't forget, today, I'm a little bit pissed. Norm. But today, the game of the day, Kansas City at Buffalo, 4:25. If Buffalo wins, Norm, I feel a little better. If I lose, you're going to have to get me food for the next month. Go ahead, Norm.
Well, congratulations to the World Series champions, the Los Angeles Dodgers, Joe. What else can you say? It was a great comeback. They were trailing by 3, and they come back. As you mentioned, they tied it at 4, and they win it. They win the game, and right in Toronto. It's not easy to do, hostile environment. And so congratulations to the Los Angeles Dodgers, the World Series champions. Now, as for the Blue Jays, quite an improvement over a year ago, that's for sure. You got to give them that, Joe. Big improvement. and they've got the nucleus of a very good team, very good pitching staff. So even though it's a downer or a bummer right now for the Blue Jays, I think their fans and the team have a lot to look forward to with all the players that they brought in, and so yeah, I think their future is bright for them. They came up a little bit short this time, but like I say, tip of the cap, thumbs up to the Los Angeles Dodgers. A great comeback in this game on the road, and tip of the cap for a great season for the Toronto Blue Jays. So that's a little bit of a more optimistic way of looking at it, Joe.
I don't care about optimistic. You go. This is the first time the Blue Jays have made the World Series and they lost. They came. First of all, this series is not 7 games. Technically, it was 8.5 games because they went 11 innings in Game 7 and 18 innings in whatever it was, Game 4, Game 3, or whatever, right? So, and I told you off air, we were talking. This may be the best, even though I'm a fan of this team. And let's face it, you're a fan of the Blue Jays too. Let's face it. I know you're going to say, oh, there's no bias. Well, BS, all right? You're a fan of the Blue Jays too. This, most likely, I don't know, I wasn't born, in 1973 or before then. But for me, if not the best World Series, probably the top 3 from 74 onwards. World Series great here. Now, a lot of questions are for the Blue Jays. I don't want to do this, but we have to do this because, Norm, this is the end of baseball season. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about the winter meetings, trades, and all that. So, we got Trey Savage, great future there, okay? We got Gausman, great future. But Bo Bichette is a free agent. Chris Bassett is a free agent, okay? Beaver, who lost the game tonight, okay? He's a free agent, okay? And they signed Guerrero to the $500 million, so he's going to be there. They got to sign, Clement, another Ernie Clement. Got to give it to him. Ernie Clement, he is the Major League Baseball leader. Post-game hits, over 30 post-game hits in postseason, all right? And let's face it, since, I'm a president, not biased, congratulations to Teoscar Hernandez, former Blue Jay, now back-to-back World Series champion. See, Norm, I'm nice, right? Back-to-back World Series champion. And congratulations, his last game ever, because he's going to retire, Clayton Kershaw is back-to-back World Series champion. Matt Scherzer started the game. He looked not bad there, but we got to give it Dave Martinez, the manager of the Dodgers, played all the starting pitchers in the World Series. Yamamoto wins this, but of course, Blake Snell looked great there. Shohei Ohtani looked good also. Let's give a talk. The Dodgers give kudos to the Blue Jays, but go ahead, anybody you want to give a shout out to.
Well, Dodgers, like I said a few minutes ago, they made a great comeback. They were down. They're on the road, hostile environment. It's a great comeback. They didn't give up, and that's part of their legacy. They've been a great franchise for a long time, and especially the last decade or so. And now they're back-to-back World Series champions, and that hasn't been done in quite a while. So good for them. And Freddie Freeman, of course, got a big home run in this series. He's a good Canadian guy, member of the Canadian national team. So there's a little bit of homegrown content there. And, the Blue Jays during at least up to Game 7 were more consistent with their hitting, with their pitching. But, that's why it's a 7-game series. And good for the Dodgers. And like I said, things aren't really gloomy for the Blue Jays. I think they've got a bright future. Doesn't look that way maybe tonight, but I think they got a bright future. And the Dodgers are the Dodgers. They're a great team every year. And just look at their record. It speaks for itself. So fans got treated to a very entertaining. I mean, how many Game 7s have gone to extras, right?
This is the third one in Major League Baseball history. This is the third one.
Yeah. So fans fans got their money's worth. As for some of the Blue Jay fans who paid a lot of money for tickets to be down at the Dome, well, it's their wallets or their pockets might be hurting a little bit. But anyway, I'm sure they still feel that they were glad that they were down there. At least I would think so. But it hurts a little bit more when you don't win the game, you don't win the series. So, but anyway, that's the way it goes, right? You take your chances. And like I say, as far as the baseball itself, Dodgers are a great franchise. They've been a great franchise for a long time. And the Blue Jays, I think, got a lot to look forward to. They really stepped up this year, considering where they finished. What did they have last year, Joe? 78 wins? Was that right?
Yeah, the Blue Jays, you're saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
finished 25 games more than they did last year. So,
Yeah. So I think there's a lot to look forward to for Blue Jay fans. And, I'm sure they're going to be a highly competitive team next season as well, maybe even more competitive. But to be fair, you got to expect that in the AL East, the Orioles can't be as bad as they were this year. They're going to be better. I mean, logic would dictate they're going to be somewhat or a lot better. The Yankees and the Red Sox, I'm sure, will spend money. And the Tampa Bay Rays are the Tampa Bay Rays. They don't spend a lot of money, but they sure are a tough team to deal with. They're a tough opponent, right? So, obviously they were playing not in their own stadium. They were playing at Steinbrenner Field in Tampa, where the Yankees play their spring training game and their farm team plays. So Tampa Bay had some very tough circumstances. So if their situation stabilizes, Tampa Bay will always be a difficult team to deal with. They don't have like I say, the payroll, but they're well managed. They develop players great, and they move players in and out. But they're always a pretty competitive team. So I think the AL East is only going to get tougher and tougher. But I don't see the Blue Jays falling back. I just think you got to expect that, like I say, the Red Sox and the Yankees will try and make some improvements. And the Orioles got to be a whole lot better than they were this year. So I think the AL East will be really tough and really entertaining next season. But that's not a knock on the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays will be part of it, but the Blue Jays are going to be, everyone's going to have Blue Jays will have a target on their back. Everyone's going to be aiming for them.
yeah.
So let's see what happens. But I think there's a lot to look forward to if you're a Toronto Blue Jay fan. And congratulations once again, the Los Angeles Dodgers on a great comeback.
All right, now let's say this, okay? And normally you're a little bit older than me, okay? A little bit. See, I'm giving you a compliment. A little bit older than me. I'm gonna say it like it is. Is this the most heartbreaking loss in Toronto sports history? I mean, they came back to Toronto 3-2. They had a chance yesterday to close it out. They failed. They had a chance today, leading 3-0, going to the I think it was the ninth inning, and they had a lead of 4-3, and they gave it up. Is this the most heartbreaking loss? You've been around when the Maple Leafs won the Stanley Cup and all that, so I think I know where you're gonna go, but this has to be, if not the most heartbreaking, probably in the top 2 or 3. What do you say?
Yeah, heartbreaking. And I guess Toronto 93 with the Los Angeles Kings, that was a heartbreaker.
Yeah, but this wasn't in the Stanley Cup.
No, I know. I'm just saying, but that was a heartbreaking series, loss, right? Just because, the high stick on Gilmore, like all the circumstances that were surrounding that made it, because it looked like Toronto was going to be in good shape. And, Gretzky didn't get the penalty. I hate to go over that, but that was a big storyline then. So, but yeah, this is a World Series, so it's a notch above, a Stanley Cup semifinal. And, but yeah, this one will hurt Blue Jay fans, especially losing at home and having the 3-0 lead. That'll hurt Blue Jay fans, especially those folks who spent a pile of money to get tickets, the scalpers prices. We heard rumors of, what was the rumor you heard about someone paying like exorbitant
$180,000 for a pair of tickets, 180,000, and today standing room only $2,000.
Wow. Well, listen, if people got the money, it's their money to spend freely as they want to do. So good for them if they got that kind of money. And I'm sure they do. Otherwise they wouldn't be spending it. But anyway, that's like a side story. But like I say, I as heartbreaking as it is for the Blue Jays, they look to me, Joe. I don't know if you disagree. I think the Blue Jays have a very bright future ahead of them.
Well, I agree with you, and I sort of disagree with you because Shapiro and Atkins, their job starts right now. Because, like I said, do they want Beaver? Right? He's a free agent. What's going on with Bo Bichette? We were talking about, do they sign Guerrero or Bichette? And it looks like Bichette is going to walk away. Let's face it. Okay. Then you got Chris Bassett, who's pitching amazing here in the last couple weeks here, and he's a free agent. They got a lot of free agents here, and Ernie Clement probably needs a raise. Okay, Kirk got a extension and all that, but there's a lot of key components here who become free agents here, and I'm not saying they're not going to sign them or whatever, but how much money they have the fifth biggest payroll. All right, Toronto, yes. They do have the fifth biggest payroll. People don't know that. Okay, it's the Dodgers, Yankees, Boston. But if you look at it, fifth is Toronto. So how much do they give Bo Bichette? How much will he want? How much will Bieber want? How much will Bassett want? So these are critical guys right now in the Blue Jays lineup. Yes, they got your Savage and they got up and comings, they're in AAA, AA, and all that, and that they're gonna start making their way here for next year. But if you're a manager of the team, general manager, you want Bo Bichette on your team, right? You want Chris on your team. You want Shane Beaver on your team. Those three guys are free agents, and those three guys will probably cost you $1 billion. Let's face it, right?
Well,
and that's not going out and signing any free agents.
Well, one thing we know, Rogers Communications isn't short on money, are they, Joe?
Well, you speak, but you know better than that, right? So they own everything now. They own everything in MLSE. They own everything. And let's face it, Norm, come on. We're talking about people spending $100,000, $2,000 a ticket or a pair of tickets. Don't you think Rogers made a lot of money in this postseason run to get you at least get you at least 4 free agents or pay Bo Bichette $200 million? If you're going to give Vlad Guerrero 600 million, 600 something million Canadian, 500 million American, Bo Bichette, what does he make? 200 million? Maybe he wants more. When is it enough? When it is enough for Bo Bichette, for Beaver, for all these guys? These are the biggest questions you have to think about right now.
It's not a question of is it enough. It's a question of, you make as much as you can while you can, Joe, in the entertainment business. Just, like if you're a musician, you take in what should Taylor Swift stop charging big money for her tickets? It's like, and then if scalpers want to pay a bundle, then they do. It's like you make as much as you can while you can, because entertainment in general can be a tough, especially if you're an athlete. You can get injured and then your career comes to an end, and there's lots of ways baseball players can get injured. So you make as much money as you can while you can. I don't begrudge them that. It's up to the teams, it's up to the fans, Joe. I watch on TV, so I don't have a say in it. They put on the field whoever they want to put on the field, and the players go sometimes to the wealthier market, but sometimes they want to choose a team that's more competitive, that gives them a chance to win. So there's different reasons for going to different places, that's for sure.
All right. Well, in case you don't know, the Blue Jays did not win the World Series. Congratulations to the 2025 World Series champions, the LA Dodgers, as they beat the Blue Jays in 11 innings, 5-4, and win the series 4-3. This is if you're a Blue Jay fan, a very heartbreaking end to, let's face it, Nobody would have expected the Blue Jays to be in the World Series, let alone Game 7, technically Game 8.5. Okay. Now, Norm, just personally, I'm going to say something like this. I'm sick and tired of having teams that I follow that break my heart. That, the Maple Leafs are the number one thing, okay? Maple Leafs number one thing. But as you know, today, in about, I don't know, 15 hours, we're going to have the Buffalo Bills play the Kansas City Chiefs in Buffalo. As you know, we're talking about the Dodgers winning back-to-back World Series. Well, Buffalo in the 90s went 4 to 4 Super Bowls in a row, and they lost. They cannot get over the burden of Kansas City for the last 5-6 years. Their coach and Josh Allen are together for 8 years already. They made the AFC Championship game, and they can't get over the hump there. Now they're 4-2 or 5-2, and the Patriots have a better record, and they beat them and all that. Now the Patriots are. Listen, every year Buffalo's a favorite. Blue Jays. I'm going to get back to the Blue Jays, but Blue Jays weren't a favorite this year. But Buffalo, I got to stop following my favorite teams. Buffalo, Maple Leafs, Blue Jays, Argos. How you win the Grey Cup championship and now the worst team in the league. TFC winning the MLS championship and the worst team in the league. All my teams heartbreak me like crazy. Okay? Heartbreak me like crazy. I don't know how we talk about the Cleveland Browns and you talk about even, let's face it, go in the same city. Buffalo Bills, Buffalo Sabres. Brett Hall scores the goal in the Stanley Cup, and Buffalo Sabres haven't made the playoffs in how many years? 15 years. All right? I'm sick and tired for people who complain, oh my God, this is heartbreaking and all that. Try to be a fan of my teams. All right? I'm not going to kill myself. I'm not throwing, I threw a hat. Big deal. Okay? I'm not people who are in downtown right now because I'm getting it. They're starting looters, rioters, or whatever. Come on. We have an amazing city. I'm the president of an amazing country. Don't break our town because we lose a sports game. Blame it on Eric Cohen. Blame it on anybody else. But don't wreck our city or our country. Norm, I don't know if you see CP24. I'm watching into the corner of the eye. It's really bad now.
Yeah, no, I don't have it on, Joe, so I'm not aware of that. But I would hope people would use their heads and, stop. What are they doing? They're looting, or what are they doing? Because I can't see it right.
It looks like they're breaking windows there. I can't because I'm doing this. I'm looking at just the corner of my eye here, and they're breaking windows, and they're. It looks like some graffiti's doing there. Anyways, downtown, I know it's the day after Halloween, but this looks like Halloween part 2, put it that way. Okay, we lost. I'm not saying we lost to a better team. We lost. Sports, I don't know if you know this, Norm. There are winners and there are losers in sports. This one hurts. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a fan. This one hurts. But tomorrow, or I don't know, 6 hours from now, the sun comes up. The sun comes up, and we have to go on and live. And hopefully, we don't live in glass and people looting the streets or whatever. I knew, even if we would have won, I knew something's going to happen. We party, but some people get a little bit Michigan sugared up there and all that. But come on, you don't have to destroy everything. We lost. Okay, but if I asked you back October 1st, because this is November 1st, we're going to the World Series. We're going to go to game 8.5 in the World Series. Unfortunately, we lose. Would you take it, Norm?
Yeah, of course. I think any Torontonian would take it for sure.
Even you talk about money spent and all that, just getting to the World Series, and if you're betting and all that, you're making a little bit of money, right? So it just shows that baseball is not dead here. And honestly, we have Raptor fans and Maple Leaf fans, but nothing united the city this last month but the Blue Jays. We want it all. We did not say we want it all in 25. It said we want it all. I'm going to change the slogan. We want it all in 26. From the Blue Jays to the Leafs to the Argos to the Buffalo Bills. As you know, I'm going to say this, and then we're going to conclude it, Norm. February 8th, 2026 is my 52nd birthday. February 2006, it's Super Bowl 60 in Santa Clara, California. And that's the home of the San Francisco Giants. San Francisco 49ers. So, Buffalo pretty much could be there because I guarantee you, Norm, I will go on the line here and say the Indianapolis Colts, who have the best record in football, will not be in the Super Bowl. All right? That's, I guarantee you. The New England Patriots, who have the best record right now as we sit in the AFC East, will not be in the Super Bowl. Also, the winner of tomorrow's game between Buffalo and Kansas City, better shot of being in the Super Bowl. Enough said. Norm, final question here on Blue Jay Strike Zone. Thank you to the over 1,000 people who are watching this right now. I know I look good here. Norm looks, at least he looks decent. White shirt, no tank top, everything like that. He looks good here. We were supposed to be joined by Mark Everkelly, but that he's snoring. He's sleeping there. We're supposed to be joined by Eric Cohen. He's distraught. He's crying in the $1,000 that he made through his tickets there. Your buddy Norm Justin, I don't know what he's doing. We were supposed to be joined by a cast of thousands, but of course, we're the only two people who work hard here, fired up now. I don't want to do a show, but Norm forced me to do a show, and he told me he's going to give me fries and ice cream. So that's why I'm doing a show. But Norm, as we conclude the baseball season, any final thoughts on the baseball season?
Yeah, well, congratulations to the Blue Jays on a huge improvement over a year ago and making it the World Series and going to Game 7. Heartbreaking loss, as you mentioned, but they still got there. And there's quite a few teams that would love to even say that they were in the World Series, whether they win or lose, Joe. So I think that's the way you got to look at it. How about all those, fans of, the Yankees and the Detroit Tigers, teams that came close. And by the way, it was nice. I'll just add this, Joe. We didn't cover it off yet, but it was nice to see both Jack Morris and Paul Molitor get a chance to throw the ceremonial first pitches out before the game. I thought that was really neat.
What's even better was Jack Morris throwing to Louis Varland, both from Minnesota. There, that's a small touch there.
Yeah.
Paul Molitor throwing it to David Schneider, but Louis Varland, and that's. I think Louis Varland's another free agent. That guy pitched almost every game for the Jays here and during the run there. Okay, so he did this. So thank you to the entire Blue Jay team. They gave us a ride like nobody else in 2000. At 32nd year, right? 32 years. There were some people not alive when we were in the World Series in 1993. Yes, 92, 93. Coincidence, back-to-back champions. Dodgers, back-to-back champions. They have the right mix in the Dodgers. They don't have, Canadian, American, Chinese, Japanese, everything. Those pitchers, amazing. Yamamoto coming off, he threw like 86 or 96 pitches. Today, one day later, he's throwing 35, 36 pitches. These guys, I don't know if their arm is rubber and let's face it, with Beaver, with Scherzer, with all these guys, really baseball just proves when it's a must-win situation. I don't care if you threw 100 pitches yesterday, you could pitch today also, because tomorrow and you have 6 months to rest.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Baseball players. Yeah. Always, nobody talks about baseball players. You got to be in shape. You got to think about almost all the Blue Jays and Dodgers pitchers they're throwing over 100 miles an hour. Over 100. 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 20 years ago, there was only one pitcher was throwing 100 miles an hour. Now everybody in the major league throws 99 to 101, 102 miles an hour. Kudos to both teams. Kudos to the Dodgers for capturing the World Series. Kudos to the Blue Jays. Remember, new slogan, want it all, 26. Want it all, 26. All right, Norm? And you talked about, let's give it to the Rogers Center. The renovations look amazing. Okay. Shapiro Atkins finally did something right. They didn't get us over the hump. And like you said, maybe it happens next year or in 2 years, but they did something right. They brought the team to, almost winning it all. The stadium looks amazing and everything like that. There's a good future for the Toronto Blue Jays and great future for baseball in general in any city and anything. We talk about Oakland moving to Vegas and we talk about relocation and everything like that. But again, this past week, the 8.5 games, really, that's what baseball, the sport, is all about. What do you think?
Yeah, well, the sport is about being unpredictable and sometimes predictable. But why do we watch sports, Joe? If we knew the outcome, we wouldn't watch them, right? So that's what makes it a great game. And the sort of game. I played softball as a kid. I don't know if you did, organized softball, and I played it as much enthusiasm as I played pickup hockey with my buddies when I was learning how to skate, and then later on, even in university days, was playing pickup hockey in an organized league. So, it's the pros are an elite. A small percentage of them never make the pros, but that's why we do. It brings back memories of what we used to do as kids, and that's part of the fun with watching professional sports for sure, Joe. So, yeah, thumbs up. Like I say, thumbs up to the Blue Jays, thumbs up to the Dodgers for giving us great entertainment and lots to talk about and lots to look forward to for both organizations. I'm sure the Dodgers will be back in the mix for next year. They always are. And the Blue Jays have set themselves at a much higher standard now. And the expectations will be for the Blue Jays to continue to play at an elite level. And they have the personnel to do that. And, yet to be seen what they do with, like you said, with free agency and player contracts. But I'm sure the Blue Jays will be back as big and maybe even better next year.
All right. Is there anything? Okay, baseball. We talked. Is there anything in the sporting world today that we didn't touch, or maybe you want to put your two cents?
No, I think we've been talking for quite a while, Joe. I think we covered all.
1 o'clock in the morning. You want to go to sleep? All right. So Norm, tell everybody how they could get a hold of you.
Yeah, right here on the Fired Up Network. And we cover all the sports, like tonight we're in depth on baseball, but we do cover hockey and baseball and basketball, football, North American football, footy overseas, and soccer in North America. So, we do, get involved in terms of major tennis and major golf as well. So we've got it all covered for you with a lot of great guests. Who Joe knows and I know that are regular contributors here on the Fired Up Network. So check it out. You'll always find an interesting discussion going on, covering the teams, whether they're based in Toronto or based anywhere in the world. We cover it all for you. So check us out. And thanks for tuning us in wherever you're watching and whenever you're watching. We appreciate it very much.
Just a side note, because I do have a guy here wants to know any details on Saturday Night Main Event. Yes, Saturday Night Main Event today was shown from Salt Lake City, Utah on the Peacock Network. 2 new champions were crowned. Tiffy time is now over as Jade Cargill is the new ladies champion, and congratulations to CM Punk. He won the Universal title. He beat Jey Uso. It was relinquished by Seth Rollins. So congratulations to CM Punk and Jade Cargill. And Dominic Mysterio retained his title by defeating Rusev and Penta there. So that was Saturday night. And by the way, they announced the following first Saturday night main event of 2026 will happen in Montreal. On January 24th. All right. For Norm Rumack and for everybody here on the Fired Up Network, Blue Jays with a great season. Unfortunately, just falling short to the Los Angeles Dodgers, the Dodgers winning the World Series. We'll be back here tomorrow. Myself and Mark Everett Kelly will preview Week 9 in the National Football League. And that will probably be up at around 11:30. So check back here. And we got many things to look forward
to. Hey, Joe, let me interrupt and just ask you, because obviously there's a lot of NFL fans watching right now. What's your call on Buffalo and Kansas City? What's your prediction?
Norm, you know better than that to ask me who I'm calling and what's my prediction. I think Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills will beat the Kansas City Chiefs, and Josh Allen will show that he's not injured. He's going to throw a couple bombs and all that, but look for Buffalo, because on Tuesday's the trade deadline, to pick up maybe 2 to 3 new players. I would say a new wide receiver, a new safety. Also look for a couple other teams to be active in that trade deadline. But since you asked, okay, and I was going to close, but because you said here, so I'm going to give you now every game in the National Hockey League is finished, so I'm going to give it to you. Buffalo in a shootout beating Washington 4-3. The Leafs victorious over Philly 5-2 again. Hopefully the defenseman Tanev does well. It was a very scary scene. He left on a stretcher. Boston beat Carolina 2-1. Winnipeg beat Pittsburgh 5-2. Nashville 4, Calgary 2. In overtime, San Jose beat Colorado. San Jose's been on a roll. San Jose winning 3-2. Florida in a shootout beating Dallas 4-3. Minnesota 5, Vancouver 2. Columbus 3, St. Louis 2. In overtime, Montreal beating Ottawa 4-3. The Devils beating the Kings 4-1. In overtime, Edmonton beating Chicago 3-2. And also 3-2 in overtime, the Rangers beating Seattle there also. That's NHL. NBA, we have some finals here. All the games are final. Sacramento beating Milwaukee 135-133. Minnesota 122 to Charlotte 105. Orlando 125, Washington 94. Indianapolis beating Golden State 114-109. Houston beating Boston 128-101. And Detroit beating Dallas 122-110. That game was in Mexico City. As you know, we mentioned the Dodgers winning the World Series. And Major League Soccer here, 0-0, New York City, Charlotte FC, and Charlotte beating them in penalty kicks 7-6. The series is tied up at 1. Philadelphia beating Chicago 3-0. Philadelphia wins that series 2-0. Nashville beating Inter Miami, series tied up at 1. Vancouver and Dallas playing to a 1-1 draw. Vancouver wins the series by winning 4-2 in penalty kicks. And also 2-2 Portland and San Diego. Portland winning in penalty kicks 3-2. The series is tied up at 1. As mentioned, CFL East Division, Montreal 42, Winnipeg 33, and BC beating Calgary 33-30. So the East Final next Saturday, 3 p.m., Montreal and Hamilton. West Final, 6:30. It is BC and Saskatchewan. Also, and just getting through here. Congratulations to your team, Chelsea beating Tottenham. Big win, 1-0. Any comments on that?
Yeah, it's a huge win, especially away from home. It's a big win over a much improved Tottenham Spurs team this year, anyway, compared to last year. And that was an important win for Chelsea, very much so. So moves them back up in a very congested English Premier League where there's so much parity. There's not much difference between the top the 12 to 15 teams. It's that solid. So every game becomes crucial.
And a side note, in the MMA world, there was a UFC Fight Night from the UFC Apex. And in the main event featherweight fight, Garcia beating Onama via TKO punches round 1, 334 in. We cover everything here on the Fired Up Network. Again, there's nothing else to say. No other sports to talk about. I could say about college football that's still going on, but there's so many games in college football. Stay tuned to the Fired Up Network on the audio side for College Gridiron. We'll be back here tomorrow with an NFL Sunday slate preview there. Like I say, I'll give you a score, Norm, and I'm going to surprise you. Buffalo 30, Kansas City 20. There you go. All right.
Wow. That'll be a shocker, I think, Joe.
And the other, Denver and Houston, it's a not bad game. San Fran Giants, the Colts and Pittsburgh, that's a good game there. Let me see what other games. Atlanta and New England, ho-hum, Cincinnati and Chicago, Jacksonville and the Raiders. The Sunday nighter, because I know you're going to ask me, Norm, it's Seattle and Washington. Seattle and Washington. And, of course, the Thursday night game finished off. Baltimore rolled over Miami 28-6. 28-6. All right, Norm. It's 1:15 in the morning. I know you got to brush your teeth, go to sleep, think about me all the time. But again, the Blue Jays make Canada proud. Congratulations to the World Series champions, LA Dodgers. Norm, take care. We'll speak tomorrow.
I look forward to it, Joe. It's been an interesting show for sure. And also my congratulations to both the Blue Jays and the Dodgers. And thank you for a very entertaining series. It was like a great movie. We were on the edge of our seats the whole way through. And Blue Jay fans, chin up. You got a lot to be proud of and a lot to be excited about. Huge improvement over last year. A lot to look forward to for next season. And the Dodgers are a class organization. They're the model of excellence, that's for sure. So congratulations to them. And we sure had lots to discuss. And it was a nice diversion from everything else.
One final thing. We got to give it, like, you talk about Rogers, but Sportsnet, Dan Shulman, Buck Martinez, Hazel May, the cast there, really, we have something that the U.S. doesn't have. They called strictly Sportsnet game all year. They went through game, even in preseason, Grapefruit League, from Grapefruit League to Game 7, extra innings. It was Sportsnet's production, and all of those guys at Sportsnet, not that I want a job at Sportsnet, but all of those guys at Sportsnet, kudos, tip a hat to you, really doing a good job. And, you know, Buck Martinez, and I hear little birdie say next year Buck Martinez will be in the Sky Dome or Rogers Center Hall of Fame. He certainly deserves it. Dan Shulman doing an amazing job. Father on the TV side, Ben Shulman on the radio side. Really, the Shulmans did a great job covering and everything for this year for World Series run. Go ahead and conclude it by once again, finally telling everybody how they get a hold of you.
Yeah, right here on the Fired Up Network, and I'll just add to your comments, Dan Shulman, Buck Martinez, I know them both. I worked with Dan at the Fan 590 from when the station first launched. Class act gentleman, Dan Shulman. And same with Buck Martinez. I found he was always approachable when he was a manager and also when he was in the media. He worked for a few years with Baltimore and then came back to Toronto. Always willing to give an interview and share his time and his insights, and he has a lot of insights. So, yeah, and also Hazel May doing a great job as a sideline reporter.
Kevin Pillar there also, and the cast of Jamie Campbell really doing a good job there.
Jamie's a really good guy too.
Yeah. So and they really outstanding job during this entire postseason run. And there's no better two commentators, in my opinion, than Dan Shulman and Buck Martinez in baseball. Really, we're spoiled here in Toronto. We have Joe Bowen also, Dan Shulman, Buck Martinez, and of course, with the Raptors there, Matty and Jack Armstrong and all that, and your buddy Leo there. So we're spoiled in Toronto with the commentators for Toronto teams, but really outstanding job by the entire Sportsnet organization, especially Dan and
Yeah.
Buck Martinez. All right. As that we conclude here, happy birthday again to Eric Cohen and Michael Sugar. Stay
Happy
tuned
birthday, Eric.
NFL Crunching the Numbers. Thanks a lot, Norm.
Thank you, Joe, and thanks everybody who's been watching and listening. We appreciate you very, very much. Thank you. Have a good night. And Blue Jay fans, be proud, chin up. And if you're partying, please party smartly and safely. And look out for the person beside you, okay? Treat them like your brother or sister, okay? We hope you'll do that. Thank you very much. Have a good night. And check us out anytime here right on the Fired Up Network. Thank you so much.